Hey guys, well I'm actually gonna play Fortnite. I'm gonna tell you about my character Thermal. So he was and also this is not actually real Naruto. It's just in my head, so I don't want any freaking comments going, "This ain't real Naruto." Yeah, I don't want that. Okay, let's get started. So my character Thermal, the male one, not the female. He was born in the Shadow Village, where they mastered Shadow Clone, and they upgraded it to where they can do a Shadow Clone, and then become invisible and go away. But since there was an 11th village, there had to be a Jinchuriki, and Thermal was the Jinchuriki. He carried the 11 tails, which was almost like the 9 tails, but about the but about plus the 2 tails power. See, now he could activate everything about the Biju chakra, but that's a little bit in the past, okay? So I mean the future. See, now he was a child, and everyone hated him just like they hated Naruto. And then he trained with his sister, but then his sister activated Sharingan, and he couldn't. So then they sent him to the Leaf Village to learn. But then, and also plus this is around when Sadara and Naruto were born. And then after that, he was training with Sadara. Then he said, "I'm going to go beyond my sister." And then suddenly activated his Sharingan. But it wasn't stronger than Sadara's. So what he did is he tracked down Madara Uchiha's body, and he took out one of his eyes to give him the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. Plus also, dang it, he took another eye for his Rinnegan. Then basically he used new abilities. Plus also he combined two abilities, Byakugan and Sharingan, and that makes him unhittable basically, which means that any of his opponents would fail. So the next time he fought Sadara, he won, because Sadara, even though he put him in the Genjutsu 3 times, he still won. And here's how the fight went. He used a new Rasengan that was like the clash of Naruto and Sasuke's Rasengan and Chidori, and then it beat Sadara. Time skip here. Baruto and Thermal had a fight, and now they were fighting for Sadara's love, because Thermal secretly had a crush on Sadara. and then they fought. Thermal won because of his, what should I call that? Sharingan. Yeah. Sharingan. Yeah. Okay. And even though Baruto used his new found power, he couldn't beat it. He couldn't beat it, and he lost. But then Thermal had an idea. Just to make sure, he put him in the Kaiomi zone, and then absorbed the loose chakra. But then somehow he escaped by Kakashi. And then, after a couple years, Thermal and Sadara got married. Then they started training, and then they almost had a child. But then his brother came along and started training with him. See, now they were almost equally matched. Thermal won every single time, except for this one time. His brother got so mad that he somehow awakened the Mangekyo Sharingan. Then it was kind of even. And almost for the first time, he almost won. Thermal was very bruised, but his Sharingan's ability, his Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, can do two things. Hit anyone 1,000 times, or give the damage that he's taken to the other person, but he still keeps the damage. And his Rinnegan evolved into, see, now I'm just trying to make this character strong. Char Rinnegan. And the ability for that is Infinite Tsukuyomi with those chains that got the 9 tails. Plus also, he puts you in a Genjutsu so powerful that basically he is basically like a god. See, now, time skip. The sister was growing up. Then she unlocked Mangekyo plus also Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. Her abilities were to slow down time, plus also absorb attacks and then use a punch of all that damage. And see, now when Thermal fought her, he used every single transformation he had, Biju mode, like everything. See, now he awakened a skill. He was able to suck all his energy, all his things into a new Rasengan. And then, but then once he hit her with it, she absorbed it and then punched him, and he felt the same damage. But then he used his Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan ability to carry over the same damage. His sister could barely walk. He could too. And then he pulled out Obito's sword when he got the Ten Tails. And then it became a very unfair battle for the sister, because the sister only had a sword. See, now the fight went on for days. Sadara was wondering where they were, so she came with some new clothes. A gray shirt with black arm things, and her pants were Hinata's. And she could also activate Rinnegan. See, now, she saw what was going on, so she activated Rinnegan, ran over, and punched not Sadara, Thermal's sister. And then Thermal, well, he got a little bit mad. And then he yelled at Sadara, "Why did you punch my sister?" And then, if someone could make like an anime version of this, this would be pretty good. But plus also I'm talking about my male character with the Kakashi hair. And every single time he activated his Biju mode, he would get madder and madder. And then, eventually in this one fight, he was fighting against Naruto. He went into his he went into like the 7-6-pass Sage mode where he has those balls on his back. See, now Thermal can activate that too, but he can also control the 11 tails very well. And once he got weak, they would switch out. And do you know how Naruto's tail would go to the 4 tails? His tail had an option to go to the 6 or 5 tails because he was the 11th. See, now, and once he transformed, he was super powerful. But if Thermal used Mitsuki's Sage mode, he would have been able to basically not take any damage by swords, because he would have like super powerful skills. See, now he doesn't have a curse mark because there's a risky chance that he'll die. So then he goes on to adventure. He finds his Shadow Village, and then he tries to fight the Hokage there. He wins and then becomes the Hokage in the Shadow Village. And then basically everything was good until Momoshiki attacked. This sounds like the Avatar. Then the fire attacked. Okay, so then Momoshiki attacked. But he activated his Biju mode and dodged his lasso stealing chakra thing. And then easily, almost easily actually, beat him, because Momoshiki turned into that big demon guy. Then he pulled out the giant Rasengan, and basically what Thermal had to do was turn into like the linked mode of 8 tails. Instantly called Naruto, and they basically combined their linked modes to make a 20-tailed fox. 20-tailed fox panther. And see, now, since Thermal had the eyes, he could put the eyes on the panther, Black Panther. So then what he did is he put 2 eyes on Sharingan, and the other eyes on Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. And see, now that took away a lot of chakra. But then he realized they could use they could use like a powerful Biju bomb. And then after that, Momoshiki was almost taken down. Then he used his giant Rasengan, And then they fought it with their Bijou Bomb. The Bijou Bomb exploded, but the giant Rasengan didn't. But then Sadara came in, made a Susanoo around it, and then they sliced the giant Rasengan away, whisked his body in half. And that's almost the end of the story. Sadara and Thermal had a kid. They named it. I don't actually know what to call it. I'll see in the comments. And that kid almost had the powers of the 11 Tails. See now, basically the 11 Tails gives you the power of the 10 Tails, but plus the 1 Tails. And see now, that power is super strong. See now, he only had like half of that power, which means he had like half % of 11. Stranger Things. Okay, so basically what happened is that the son, he ran off and then fought some enemies. He almost died, but then somehow he awakened a new thing. Instead of Sharingan, you know how Baruto has his Jogan? It was mixed with that, and it was Sharogan. And basically what that does is that it can paralyze enemies, but you can't move either. But they take damage over time by poisoning. See now, it's kind of like Shadow Possession, but more deadly. And basically after that jutsu, you have 50% of your chakra. So then he went back home and lay down in his bed. But then Thermal and Sadara realized that he was injured. Then they looked around outside the Leaf Village, and they saw a whole squad right there outside their door. Then Thermal turned into his Sage 6 Fast mode, and then he looked around, made sure no one would see. And then when Sadara blinked, all of the enemies were impaled by his shadow clones. And then when the shadow clones disappeared, the enemies disappeared too, because they were actually shadow clones of the same person. Then Sadara looked behind her. He saw the man about to stab her, but then Thermal, he threw one of the 6-page, he threw the ball on his back, broke the sword, then he ran up and smacked him. But Sadara was somehow injured because it actually stabbed through the ball and stabbed her in the arm. And then what happened is that she had to take, and then she went to the healer basically. But no healing jutsu would work because it was a poison, a special poison that would spread across her. And he said the only healing thing would be from a Jinchuriki, but it would take their life. Well, half of their life. Because they have to. Well, no. But basically, someone has to use a death seal on her. So basically, he didn't know how to do that seal yet. He was working on it. But he realized someone did. Then he called Orochimaru, and he did a death seal on her, and brought her back. Not like Pet Cemetery. She came back good. And now they live a happy life in a ninja world. Plus also, their son is almost grown up, and he's training super hard to learn how to activate Mangekyo. Now it's time for Thermal's sister side. She was always the smart one. So she basically won every single battle until he got the Sharingan. And then when he went to the Leaf Village, she trained super hard. And the reason why she unlocked Mangekyo Sharingan and Eternal Sharingan is that she was fighting someone that already had Mangekyo. So we took both. So she took one eye that had Mangekyo, plus also took one eye of a member of her family. But then she realized that they would notice that he was gone or an eye was missing. So then she just put him in the Genjutsu. And basically what happened is that they broke out of it, so she had to kill her whole family like Itachi. And basically she went to the Leaf Village. bruised and injured. And then Thermal, you know the rest. But then when Momoshiki attacked, she saw but she hid because she knew that she wasn't strong enough. But when Thermal and his family were fine, she was actually working for the Ambu Squad, and she was killing all the ninjas in different villages like Leaf, Hidden Mist, everything. She killed everyone that her task was, and for that she got to take all of like their chakra for it because she used chakra scalpel every single time to drain all their chakra. And so now what happened after is that basically she became almost the most powerful. Thermal, Sadara, and his son were the most powerful, plus Naruto and Sasuke. So now she was like the sixth most powerful person. And see now she was very frustrated because of that. So she just got so frustrated that she said, "It's time for me to end this," and then fought her brother one last time. And you know, this is why I didn't want to add it in the Thermal story, because like stuff really bad happens. And see now, she has the same weapon as Sadara. I mean, yeah, that's Sadara. Uh, and then what happens is that she suddenly lunges at him. And then he lunges at her with the sword of Obito. And then basically what happened is they slice each other. Sadara's sister knew that he hit her. So basically what he did, so basically what she did is put him in the Genjutsu and then heal herself. But his eyes were adapted to the Genjutsu, so he just acted and got closer. But then he kicked her, and then almost kicked her into a mountain. Well, she did hit the mountain, but that was a Shao clone. Then he looked up and saw her almost stab him in the eye. But then once he punched her, he realized that this is another Shao clone. None of these are really her. She's actually still in the Ambu Squad, and she didn't even care about his power because she knows that she is smarter, faster, and better. But the one thing that she didn't know is that was a Shao clone as well. Thermal was actually right behind her the whole time. And then what Thermal did is that he basically almost killed his sister. And he said, "Never come back to the Leaf Village, or else you'll die. And do not come back to the Shadow Village. I am the Hokage there, and I will make sure no one likes you, you murderer." So then she went on to no village. She ran as long as she could. But then she realized that she could unseal Kaguya. So then she said, "He wants to do it that way, then I'll unseal someone way stronger than me to kill him." So then she almost did. But the cost this time was either giving your soul to the Ten Tails or just taking the Ten Tails for yourself. And so now she took the 10 tails for herself. Well, actually, no. She already had the tails and she didn't know it. It was the 2 tails. And basically, once she tried to take the 10 tails, she almost became the 12 tails, stronger than Thermal. But see, now what happened is that the 2 tails rejected the 10 tails and then threw them back out. So then she hopped away and then realized that she had a tail. Then she ran back to Thermal and said, "I am a Jinchuriki." But then Thermal was like, "No, you aren't. Then transform into your tailed beast." And she almost did. She transformed into half. Then he realized that she didn't perfectly perfect it. So what he did is that he helped her perfect the 2 tails. And basically after that, the 2 tails user, which is Thermal's sister now, they kept training to get stronger and stronger. But for some reason, there was a universal paradox going on which messed up anime itself. And see, now what happened is that there was a crossover of My Hero Academia and Dragon Ball Z in Naruto to Boruto Shinobi Strikers. And see now, Thermal could easily take out everyone except for one person, Deku. See, now, it was a long fight. Bakugo used his plus ultra about 2 times to stop a Biju bomb. But Ultra Instinct could not beat Thermal's eyes, because Goku, when he tried to use Ultra Instinct, he could see through everything. So he just took him out with about 5 blows. Plus also, Vegeta's Super Saiyan Blue evolved. He only needed 1 hit right to the stomach. But suddenly, once All Might heard a body drop, he ran through the portal, jumped in, and saw Thermal. Thermal's sister came out and summoned her Two Tails. Thermal didn't summon anything, he just waited for him to attack. And Sadara, she was ready, activating her Rinnegan. So All Might knocked out Thermal's sister and Sadara. But then he didn't know that Thermal, that was a shadow. Not a Shadow clone, a shadow. Cause that's the stronger version of Shadow clone. You can just make your shadow you. And then once All Might hit it, he started to get pulled into the shadow dimension. But then he came back up. All Might's fist came out. But then he used his infinite Tsukuyomi. But then he pulled him down with the chains, and then punched him back into the portal. Punched Deku back into the portal, which took like not 5 minutes, about 1 hour, because they had a very good fight. And Deku almost won because he used his plus ultra 5 times and his body didn't look strained. Something about the paradox probably did that. And then Thermal was like, "How can this be? My eyes are stronger than you." But then he realized something. He just let him damage him. But then he exchanged the damage. And then he uses infinite Tsukuyomi to pull him into the portal with All Might and Bakugo. And then he pulled Goku and Vegeta into their portal. And then he tried to shut them, and he could. But they came back because the people that started the portal was Bakugo, Deku, and All Might. Because once they used all of their plus ultra, all of their power in one punch together, they can open the portal. So now once they did, All Might and Bakugo weren't able to come through, but Deku was. So he went through and fought Thermal as hard as he could. He used his plus ultra, his Detroit Smash, everything. But Thermal was always 1 step ahead. And then, one time, he got a good hit on Thermal, punched him into 3 mountains. But then, after that, Thermal, he said, "Enough. Infinite Tsukuyomi!" And then pulled him back into the portal. Well, that's what he thought. And then, for some reason, Deku didn't get affected by it. He broke through it with his One for All, then almost punched him into the portal of Dragon Ball. But no, he dodged him, grabbed him, and then threw him into the world of My Hero Academia. And then Deku tried to jump through, but he shut it before he could even try. And then Deku raged like a default on Fortnite when he fails. And then basically after that, Thermal and his sister, they had a good life, plus Sadara was there, plus their son. And now their son is about 27 years old, and he's already mastered every jutsu. And that's basically everything right there. That's all about my character. And I would say that Thermal is actually not the strongest. I would say that he is, well, actually, he is the strongest. He's just like a little bit above Naruto, a little bit. And like he's actually a lot above Sasuke. Well, actually no, he it's the same. But Sadara is like a little bit below Sasuke. I would say that. So basically, yeah, that's my backstory on Thermal. And yeah, so you know, I would love if someone can animate this because I don't know how to edit. And I'm pretty sure my brother Taj is gonna go, "Why didn't you make this a 10-minute vid?" And it's probably gonna come out like 1 minute over or more. So, you know, like 10-minute vids are short. Just like if you see a YouTuber going like if you see PewDiePie posts a 10-minute vid, it's gonna be a short vid. If you see like a YouTuber post any vid that's below 10 minutes, it's a short vid. See now, the backstory on Thermal, the reason I'm telling you this, guys, is because like I don't want you to get confused of on like what my character does, how powerful he is, and especially what his transformations are. See now, he basically can almost go into every transformation. Almost. He can go into all of them, but there is a risk of death. See now, to make that risk higher, he would have to get the curse mark, but I don't want him to have the curse mark because there's a like 90% of you dying. So like, that's why I don't want to pick the curse mark. And basically, yeah, you know, that's the end. And you know, Thermal Gaming out.